suburbanites look real scary. My car ran out of gas and I had to walk through them suburbs. I had to start running. I didn't know suburbanites was that scary. Oh, they're scaring me. They ran me right up to the studio. Oh, they're trying to get in. Help me, Kiki. Help me, Kiki. I'm scared of those suburbanites. Oh, help me. Help me. Help me. Oh, I didn't know suburbanites were so scary. Kiki, I thought you had the door locked. They're coming to get me. I'm scared of those suburbanites. Ah! Oh, look at them. In those beards and look at that hair. My goodness. Oh, please, somebody help me. Security. Help me. Help me. Those suburbanites trying to get me. I shouldn't have talked about them. I'm sorry, suburbanites, go away. Oh my goodness, take those clown masks off. Ah! Look at their mouths. Wow, they're looking strange. They're looking a little bit like Trump. Oh, help me, y'all. Oh, please.
The University of Common Sense. We are the most hated and the most loved. We're number one. This show is coming straight from the hood in the rich city of Cleveland, Ohio. At least downtown is rich. We're keeping it real, and sometimes we make it rain, just like the Cleveland Indians. And you can reach us at 216-578-1490. That's 216-578-1490. Or join those the millions who live stream us at www.newstalkcleveland.com. You can also text us at 216-804-7462.
Lord, don't ever run out of gas in the suburbs. Lord have mercy. They're coming from them Cleveland Browns games.
Yes, they are.
Some of them going to the Indians game all the way out of town. And some of them is chasing me. Here they come! Here they come! I smell them! Oh! Everywhere! Look at them! Pepper Pike, Twinsburg, Lyndhurst. Lord have mercy. Y'all take care of them children. Y'all take care of them kids tomorrow. It's Halloween.
Yes, sir.
It's Halloween. I tell you right now, we're going to give out whippings too. This is straight up. We're going to give out whippings. We're telling the police department already. The first person, the first adult we see in one of those scary clown costumes, we whooping them. We ain't going to call you. We're going to whoop them. Just whoop them. So don't put on those scary clown outfits. Adults! Trying to scare those kids. They already got that traumatic thoughts about crazy clowns. So don't... Adults, I don't want to see one adult with a crazy-looking clown outfit in. If you do, children, you all call black-on-black crime. Y'all call us. We're going to come out and whoop them. Get them clown outfits out. Let these children have a ball. You know they're scared of them scary clowns outfit. Get them out! Oh, yeah, we're going to whoop you. I got to tell you it like it is. And I'm going to tell you one more thing right now. I know I'm going to get in trouble. I know I wasn't meant to be on the radio forever. Lord have mercy, I'm going to tell you one more whooping we're going to give up. Now, don't y'all try to put this on no domestic violence, because it ain't going to be like that. But listen, the next woman or lady that we see and we go over to her house and her gas is cut off and her children is cold, and the next day we see her in the hair store buying $300 worth of hair, she getting a whooping. I can't listen, don't quote me, but I'm telling you, the next woman, the next female that if we go to their house and they ain't got no gas and they kids are children are cold, and we catch them the next day in the hair store buying $200-300 worth of hair, oh my goodness, they're gonna get it. Listen, I keep it real with you. This is the Art McCoy University Radio Show, the University of common
Common
sense.
sense.
Listen, gas, a warm house is more important than hair. Y'all hear me, ladies? Oh, I know I got millions of you listeners. Sometimes you like me, sometimes you don't. But one thing you know for sure, I keep it real. As old as I am, and as many years as I've been out here, I have never remembered, and you know that I've been through the court system a time or two, whether they were trying to frame me or where I was guilty or not. You know I've been through the court system a time or two, and I've been around the block when it comes to court cases. And I'll tell you, in all my years, have I ever saw a capital murder case be tried in 2 weeks? I have never. In 2 weeks, the young man, 20 years old, read the story, son.
You're talking about Davion Perry, age 20, who 2 weeks ago was convicted. Well, 2 weeks ago, he shot and killed 15-year-old young man who was working at the Mr. Hero sandwich shop. And Davion Perry, 20, appeared before Cuyahoga Common Pleas Judge Robert McClendon. And the past Wednesday, in the rare arraignment plea, which became before any pretrial conferences were held, before any, Davion Perry was then sentenced the past Friday to life in prison. The shooting took place of Sunny Ravi Patel on the night of October 14th, as Patel worked at the Mr. Hero shop. Now, Perry, as was discussed last week on this show, he had been arrested 2 days later after robbing a Lee Road Dollar General and attempted to evade the Cleveland Heights police. Now, what finds it so interesting is that, the following day, he robbed a University Heights Subway restaurant. But like you were just talking about, the sentencing came within 2 week period. And there was a arraignment plea, which came before any pretrial conferences were held. There was no discussion of mental health or anything like that. It was done within, I'll say, 48 hours of him attending to court.
Let me make this perfectly clear. Melanated Media News, YouTube. Let me make this perfectly clear. Let me make this perfectly clear to my millions of listeners. My objection and my complaint is not with the fact that 20-year-old Perry is getting life in the penitentiary without parole. That is not my objection. He killed that 15-year-old Patel working at Mr. Heroes. He was supposed to get some time. Robbed 2 or 3 more stores, had the same clothes on. He was supposed to get some time. That is not my objection. That is not my objection to this whole case. He should have got some time if he got life without parole in the penitentiary. That is not my objection. My objection is from another perspective. How can you try a capital murder case in which this young man was killed? How can you try it in 2 weeks?
He pled guilty.
How can you try it in two? Listen, brother. Pleading guilty doesn't mean anything within 2 weeks, all right?
Okay.
Let me tell you why. Because usually in capital cases, if you go before a judge and you plead guilty, say, I'm guilty. You know what the judge will tell you? Normally, he'll say, I'm not accepting your plea right now. I want you to go get with your attorney.
Are you sure and different?
Listen, brother. Listen, you're 30 years old. I'm telling you.
31.
31, you understand? I'm twice your age. I have never in all my life seen a capital murder case be tried in 2 weeks. In other words, when the young man was arrested, the criminal was arrested, they arrested him, put him in jail. 2 days later or so, or 1 day later, they brought him before a judge. And the judge said, how do you plead? And he said, guilty. All right, we accept that part of it, all right? But remember now, this is a capital murder case, all right? All right. So they accepted his plea. All right.
Right.
Fine. All right. So the next week, they bring him back before the judge, and the judge and the prosecutor and all of them had got together, and so the young man pleaded again. They said, we're not going to give you the death penalty, but we're going to give you life without parole. Clap, bam, boom. The young man is already in the penitentiary 2 weeks later. So, brothers.
So what are you saying? What are you...
Listen, if you listen, I'm going to tell you what I'm saying.
Okay.
Do you know anything about precedent? Cases set precedent. And what I'm saying to you, if they can try this young man here, the countless other young men that might go before the justice system in the future, is this going to be precedent in which they can be they can plead guilty, or they can be coaxed into plead guilty, have it go, and then the next week, before you know it, they sentence and on their way to the penitentiary? Listen, you don't even have a chance to get a mental evaluation. You don't. There's so much that has to happen before this process proceeds. Man, I'm telling you right now. Listen, man. If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And I see some real problems here with this case. But the problem is not. Don't get me wrong. The problem is not with the scoundrel that committed the robberies and what's happening to him. The problem is setting precedent what's going to happen to the countless other young men.
And when you were speaking on black women, I respect black women, but it seems like other races take advantage of our women. I go out to different clubs sometimes and different other recreation spots, and I see other races, they use black women, but when it comes to their women, I don't see their women out. They use our women just for toys, just to play with.
Dimitri, you triggered my interest. You actually go out to the club?
Yes, I do. I enjoy music. I go out and listen to the music, have a good time every once in a while.
Because I've been trying to figure out a profile on you, Demetrius, and so it's very interesting. Now I'm getting a little bit more clear, because at one time I thought you was one of those persons that just sit home all the time, but you actually do go out in the club and mingle.
Yes, I do. I enjoy music, and
all right. So good. I've been visualizing you, but I couldn't really pinpoint. So you go out to the clubs.
Yes,
So if I go out to a club to hear some music, I might see Brother Demetrius.
Yeah, as long as it's a safe spot.
Okay, all right. I'm getting to a point, Demetrius. So Demetrius, why every time you say you come into to a rally or a visual, you never come? Why I never see you there? I gotta wait. I gotta see you at the club. Is that where I need to see? I'm just asking the question. Is that it's okay? It's okay. At least I know where I can find you at. So that's all I'm getting at. So I can find.
I just need to know the exact location so I can make sure I can be there.
I understand. So it's better, Demetrius. I'm not knocking you, man. Look, if you like the club, you like the club. So the best place I can find Demetrius at the club, right? Wait a minute, Demetrius. Listen. I know I'm going all over the place, but you bring up a very interesting point here, because what you're telling me is really in reality, in fact, that if I want to find a lot of my brothers and sisters, I won't find them on the line. I will not find them on the dump, but I will find them at the club. That's beautiful.
No, see, but
hey, that's all right.
The job I have, I work.
No, I understand. Kiki, and all the.
And I also do other things.
I understand. Kiki, I know where to find y'all at the club. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not knocking that.
Everyone have a hobby and they have a way to relax, and I always enjoy music.
Okay.
So for me to take away music, that would take away a big part of my life.
Brother Brother Mitchell.
I enjoy
Brother
social
Mitchell.
issues. I enjoy
Brother Mitchell, no
Yeah.
explanation is necessary. I'm just profiling
Okay.
you. You're a regular,
Okay,
and
understand.
Brother Mitchell, I got to run. Okay, thank you for all your
Okay.
information. Jail. I know. Are they messing with you? I know you're in jail. What's going on? The last time I talked to you was what? Yes, ma'am.
You know I'm not in jail because I paid a $6,000 bond to get out. But before we talk about that, let me thank everybody that came out to the rally yesterday for the 7th anniversary of the Imperial Avenue murders. Anthony Sowell and 11 black women that he killed. And we renew our request to the Ohio Supreme Court to uphold his convictions. And as to what you were discussing a minute ago about the young man that got the life in prison without the possibility of parole in a capital murder case in 2 weeks, it just shows that the pendulum has swung. We're really going back to slavery. And for Cuyahoga County, Tim McGinty, and I view him as racist and corrupt and just an unprecedented detriment to the black community, for him to get away with that and for the judge to abuse his discretion and do that, and for the young man's attorney to act in an ineffective manner is just unprecedented. And his family needs to take the attorney to the bar and to appeal that, not based on what he did, but for them to get away with that kind of thing. And that's what I saw when I was in jail. I saw that kind of thing, and it is terrible. And these black leaders need to speak up and quit letting these 34 predominantly white, majority Democratic judges do as they please. In my opinion, from what I could see, Timothy McGinty himself should be in a jail cell. He should have been indicted around the Tamir Rice case, and we're sitting around fighting each other. Now, what they did to me, as you know, I'm accused of almost touching police officers that came on my property in University Heights without a warrant, calling me the N-word. And I was indicted in 2015, but the judge, Michael Russo, this is what he did. He issued a summons, and before it could be served, he issued a capias to get me arrested at the RNC, which was illegal. And he ordered an arraignment. So you can't have an arraignment before the person is served. That's why they say when you're arrested and you go for arraignment, do you waive service of the indictment? But they are violating the rules. Judge Nancy McDonald gave me a $10,000 bond, which was paid. We paid a $1,000 bond, my dad. They then kept me in jail for 3 months and would not let me out, thanks to presiding Judge Joe Russo, a Democrat, and my own attorney, William McGinty, a Democrat, actually lobbied to get my bond illegally increased, and then they rescheduled the hearing. These things are terrible, what they are doing. We need to get down there and picket that jail, because there are too many people in there, too many blacks, too many women, and we're sitting around talking about things that are not as significant as what they have done to us. And we again call on Armand Budish and black leaders and Congresswoman Fudge to have a meeting in the black community of what's going on. It is terrible. You have any questions for me?
Yes, I do, Kathy. What I would like to say to you, Kathy, is that you are a true soldier, because you haven't been out that long, yet you were able to organize the Imperial Women community gathering, and I was working on the bus, the Black Man Army bus, but I understand that you really got the people to turn out and come out and respond. And Kathy, that's a plus for you, because I know you've only been out of the Cahupa for a short period of time. So you are a truly soldier organizer, that you would be able to do that and remember the Imperial women the way you did. So I just want to give you a shout out to that. And also I'd like to give you a shout out because the program that you did from the county jail was a classic program that's still talking about that, how you were able to get those ladies, women in that county jail to talk to us right live on the radio 1490 WERE and get your point and talk about their cases also. And by the way, Kathy, I've been reading a lot lately about, and I know this affects you personally, is that there's a lot of wrong going on, especially in our community with the way they're setting these bonds and holding people in jail as long as they are.
Well, let me say this first. I could not have done anything without people like you and Art and the activists. And I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for picketing and helping to get me out of there. The first time we came on your radio show, WERE, as you know, I had organized, if you will, they did it independently, some women before, and they put me in the hole for a week so I couldn't do it.
I remember.
Then they took me to another pod, and I didn't tell them I was going on the show, and as you know, we were instrumental in doing that, and they called me outside and said, Ms. Coleman, we want you to know that that's free speech and there's nothing we can do about it. But after my bond was paid, where Judge Russo illegally elevated it $4,000, they wouldn't let me out then. They said they were going to keep me a month in that jail. Now, we've got to deal, and I want to thank the people that came out to that rally, including Tanya Jones, who's running for the Domestic Relations Court, because Domestic Relations Court is very crucial in the black community, and it is an indictment against the black community that not one black sits on that court when Cleveland is predominantly black and the city is 29%. The county is 29% black. We want to thank all of those people that came out, Representative House, and the list goes on, Councilman Ken Johnson and Mamie Mitchell, the Imperial Avenue families, the activists, with Al Porter at the helm with me, and some of the Genevieve Mitchell. But this is not over because they're still threatening me. Once I got out, you know, I have no criminal record, and so you have McGinty and Russo trying to treat me like a criminal, putting things on my legs, trying to get me in the house. They put a probation officer on there named Omar Ferret, and he's been threatening me and repeatedly harassing me and calling Judge Russo and saying he's going to stick me in jail. He actually told me after I got out of jail that if I stopped at home and got a sandwich on my way home, he would put me in jail. These things are going on with black leaders at the helm, and they need to stop it. They need to stop it. Now, in terms of organizing that rally, I thought it was crucial that we not forget what Anthony Sowell did. I'd like to come on that show, but we'd like to have an audience with Congresswoman Fudge and some of these black leaders on what McGinty is doing. And he is getting away with it. He told me that I wouldn't have been indicted. He sent a message if I helped him get reelected. And as you know, he lost, and he'll be out in January. But you need to watch to damage that man. And I believe McGinty is mentally unstable. By the way, they gave me a psych exam when I was in there. I passed it with flying colors.
Oh, Kathy, we know you ain't crazy. Come on.
Look,
I got to...
upset over that exam, since I'm certifiably sane and competent, that he won't even put it on the docket. But we want McGinty to have an exam. And let me say this before I go.
All right, quickly, Kathy.
Judge John O'Donnell, who tried to steal my home in University Heights for $36,000, that's also behind it. We call on the black community not to vote on Judge John O'Donnell for the Ohio Supreme Court. He's the Democrat who's been stealing homes. Data show that. He allowed Michael Brelow to go free when he gunned down 2 unarmed blacks. Vote for Pat Fisher instead of him.
All right, Kathy, thank you so much.
We're talking about our guest who deals with a whole lot of issues and what's going on and has a good pulse on what's going on in our city. None other than our sister, Angela Woodson. How are you?
Oh, I'm blessed to be here. I love being in the studio with y'all.
No doubt about it.
Thank you.
But I invited her particularly in the studio today because if you all are like me, millions of listeners, when it comes to issues on the ballot,
Right.
we don't know that much. Again, when it comes to issues on the ballot, we don't know that much. We'll be asking, what's issue 31? What's issue 32? What's issue 108? So in the studio to help us with those issues is no other than Angela Woodson.
Thank you. Yes, the city of Cleveland has quite a few issues on the ballot this November 8th. And if you're early voting, I pray you are reading and researching these issues. Issue 32 is an income tax for the city of Cleveland. Again, this is for the city of Cleveland residents. And a lot of people are confused about this, Brother Art, because they think income tax meaning their property. They thinking their housing is going to go up. They're going to see something on their tax paper regarding their housing property. It doesn't have nothing to do with that. This is a payroll tax, and that's how we should be articulating that. If you have a job in the city of Cleveland, if you're working, it's not just city of Cleveland employees. Yes. It's if you're working for Key Bank in city of Cleveland. That you know, when you get your little pay stub and it says all the taxes that they're taking out, that's what this issue is about. And that's how we have to break it down for our brothers and sisters, because some of them are really thinking, you know, like even the elderly thinking, oh, I'm retired. They're going to come. No, it's not going to hurt the retirees. Mm-hmm. It's not going to hurt anybody out of work. This is a payroll tax. So a lot of these suburban people that live on the outskirts of Cleveland but work inside Cleveland, this is going to affect them. But the residents who live in Cleveland vote on this issue. Suburban people will not have a say-so in this. This is just the residents who live in Cleveland that get to vote on this. But suburban people who work in Cleveland will be affected by this payroll increase that City Council and Mayor Jackson is asking to take place. But it's needed because everybody's complaining about the potholes.
Yes.
And everybody's complaining about, you know, how come we can't fix up these vacant lots? This is all money. And see, the city has shrunk. We have lost population. So a lot of the money that our Congress people go and ask for to come help the city, it's hard to justify the need when we have so many people that have moved out or transitioned into another life that we haven't moved people in to kind of justify those dollar amounts. So this request, I know people are moaning and groaning about it, but I'm saying, look, if you want repairs, I know they're harping on more police, and the safety, and yeah, that's a part of it, but the bigger picture is, the main thing I've been hearing is about winter's coming. They're going to have to shovel, so you want new snow plows and stuff because the snow plows is broke down. Well, hello, that's money. That's resources. That will help towards that. You want pothole fixed after the snow melts and you want your streets fixed. Well, again, that's money. So somewhere this money has to come from somewhere. And also because we have shrunk so bad as a city, the state has done a job on cutting local government funding, which a lot of people are missing. You know, and in not particular this governor, but just governors over the years have been strapped with, we have 88 counties in this state. And with 88 counties, Cleveland has over 50, Cuyahoga County has over 50 different municipalities that pool at state government for resources. And they just don't have the resources anymore to really help give cities to go ahead and take care of potholes and bridge repairs and all of that. And it's starting to cost. So they have to, and the city of Cleveland hasn't done this in 35 years. That's what people need to understand. This is something they have tried their best. And I commend, all of the administrations, Jackson and prior to Jackson, Campbell, even the Mayor White and even the Mayor Voinovich. They've done an excellent job trying not to avoid this. But now it's just come down. They have to do something.
So a very, very good point you make. But let me ask you this question. Didn't they say that about the speed light, red light camera? Didn't they say that money was going to increase the revenue and we'd be able to get potholes filled? Wouldn't we be able to, wasn't that supposed to really supplement the city as far as police and all that? Wasn't that true, dear?
That is true. That is true,
well,
what they said about the speed light cameras.
Then what happened? Why? And they told us to vote for it.
Right.
Because if we vote for it, then again, your argument is clear, mm-hmm. that suburbanites would pay the bulk of the camera fee.
That's right.
That did not happen.
Right.
And so, as a matter of fact, the inner city itself got riled up because they were getting, seemed like, all the tickets.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so here's my point. Mm-hmm. And you have a very valid position. Here's my point. If they lied to us then, what makes us think they're not going to lie to us now?
Well, at the end of the day, that's a good point. But see, that's where it comes. You do what you did with the red light cameras.
Okay.
You took it to the streets. You educated the people. And what did you all do? Got the red light cameras gone.
Yes. Uh-huh.
See, we have to hold this accountable. Now, they're saying this is what the increase is going to go to. So as we stormtroop city council and everywhere else, when they don't do what they say they're going to do, then this is what we're going to have to do, you know, to stormtroop city council again, stormtroop the way we got to do, going to let our people know, hey, we passed this, and you didn't say the money still ain't fixing what you said it's going to fix. But it's also having clarity. And see, the thing
I like
is,
your clarity.
and what the city has to do, if the citizens of Cleveland vote for this, they owe it to the citizens to be very clear when this takes implementation.
All right. Okay. All right. We're going to stepping right forward. Again, when we passed the gambling tax, when we passed the gambling tax in the city of Cleveland, they told us that that money, a lot of that money was going to go for inner city repair, potholes, and those kind of things.
And to the schools.
And to the school.
That's right.
They lied to us again. They took the majority of that money, tax money, and what they do with it? They put it downtown. They put it downtown. All right, so they put it downtown. So the speed light, red light cameras, they lied to us on the particular issue of the gambling tax. They lied to us. So you're telling us they're telling the truth this time. That's all I'm asking you. And I'm not trying to get you to defend either position because you're not here for that reason. You're here for one reason, and that is clarity. And I understand that clearly. All right. I'm just giving you. I'm just.
No, and I'm with you on that. But that's why I go back to shows like this, and what organizations and activists have been doing in the community, is that when we do step out on faith. Because that's all we can do with this.
Yes.
And if we vote the way they would like us to vote, we have the right to go back and call them on it if they don't do what they're going to say they're going to do. And we have to be the watchdogs. We have to remember we employ them to work for us. And even though they've produced this language to pass this type of issues to become into law, we still have to hold their feet to the fire of what they're telling us they're going to do with the resources. And then if they don't do what they say they're going to do to the resources, then again, it's for the citizens to rise up and put everybody on notice. And then maybe some people have to get unelected in 2017, because 2017, this whole group of people run for re-election, or new people will run for the seat or what have you. But I feel like this is going to be the litmus test for a lot of them running next year in the city of Cleveland for city council and as well as the mayor.
All right. Okay. Beautiful sister. Who's on the phone line? Talk to me. This sister.
If they hire 200 more police, it's going to be 200 more Brelos and Lomans and Loomises. We don't need those 200. I'd like to see this thing defeated. That to me, that's holding them accountable. That's how you get their attention and let them know maybe they won't get reelected next November. I think what Angela's talking about holding them accountable, I think it starts with this election and setting the message and standing up at the ballot box in addition to city council meetings.
All right. I can understand your point of view also on that, Gary, no doubt about it, okay? Is there any final comment you want to make?
Vote no on issue 33.
All right. Vote no.
I have one more.
Yes.
I have one more for you. And I don't understand that public defense. I presume it was a public defender on that kid in Cleveland Heights. I don't understand that guilty plea, a week after the murder.
I can't understand it either, Gary. Listen, I feel sorry for the family and of the 15-year-old. All my prayers and sorrow go out for them. But I'm just speaking of the legality of it. I don't understand it either. What she's doing today is getting the word out, telling the truth about what's happening, and however you want to vote, that's the way you vote. But she's just here to get the word out on those issues. Give us another issue, dear, as we pass the gavel.
Sure. As was brought up by the caller, Gary, issue 33. what is dealing with minor changes needed to the reform of the Police Review Board. Again, this is City of Cleveland. And this is an issue, and as it was pointed out by Gary, who was on the call, that's really still a very gray area. It's not clear what citizens, as it's worded, will really be voting to improve upon, because he's exactly correct. There are still a number of recommendations that the U.S. Department of Justice has given the City of Cleveland that they have to implement, especially the police department. And so the question becomes, okay, if we are to vote yes to change the way that the charter goes, as we've been saying just about the red light cameras and we've been saying about the gambling tax, are you going to really put some teeth to this as it relates to the police department and the police review board? Which a lot of people have some concerns. Will it be the handpicked of the political operatives of who they want to see, or will citizens, in fact, have the right to appoint people who are really going to be objective, on this board? Among other things, the training is a huge concern. Everybody's still questioning in the community about community policing. When is it going to take place? Why hasn't it taken place? So this, again, is an issue. There's quite a few community groups denouncing 33. As you notice, there hasn't been any yard signs really out on 33. They try to keep this a little quiet because they don't want a whole lot of questions, because it is still a very gray issue that really hasn't been clearly defined, because of the fact there are organizations and people and citizens monitoring from this DOJ perspective, like, where are you at as far as this? And if you hire, just like Gary the caller said, if you hire all these police officers, okay, you haven't trained the present police officers yet. So how do we feel comfortable about that? And if you are training them, when did you train them? When is the best part? All we've heard is about them wearing the body cameras. And now having to wear making sure they have the cameras on top of their desk. But I'm still looking for, when is the officer going to walk down the street and really get to know my neighborhood? And a lot of the elderly even ask that. When does that start to come into play with really trying, not just passing out coloring books at festivals, okay? But when are y'all really going to get in the streets and really get to know who lives at what address and really get to know them? And the community is questioning that more and more. So this is really an issue. I would like to see some of the polls of where the polling data that they're getting on this, because it's not being talked about. It's trying to be just kept quiet, as quiet as possible, because it's what I call one of them sneak-in issues, where they just going to sneak this in, riding on the wave of the hype of the presidential election. And you really got to research it, because there's a lot of debate on social media about it. There's a lot of aggressive no data and good facts from the no side, but also the yes side. They're trying to come with their thing about, hey, we have to go ahead and do this because of the DOJ report.
All right. So on your last line there, we have to do this because of the DOJ report. What that mean?
That's why I said it's a gray area. Now, it's all of who you ask, right? It's all of who you ask, Brother Art.
Okay.
So, you're going to ask the elected officials down there, they're going to say, this is what we got to do because of the DOJ report, okay? But if you go back and review the DOJ report, it makes a whole bunch of recommendations that's not even being cited in this particular issue. It was just this one area they decided that they were going to tackle to get the citizens' input, because some of the report does require citizens' input. And so this is their way, I guess, to say, okay, well, we're going to do citizens' input by putting 33 on here. But it's still not a clear issue. But I understand. And I understand that there are certain structures that encourage us to vote a certain party ballot. And I'm clear on that, and we get caught. That's why we have to have shows like this sometime to really educate about who's who, regardless of party affiliation, if they're good for us or not. But as far as, yes, you're to go to city council, but also pay attention to the finance committee meetings. I mean, city council has a finance committee. And you need to go to those committee meetings. The one thing, and what's beautiful now about the internet, they're supposed to post all of this information. This is public information. And so you can go to City Council's website and find out when the Finance Committee is meeting and sit there and do the checks and balances of what they're talking about with this money, because it does come out, and that's how you begin to really monitor and dig to the root of what they're doing with it. Like Brother Art just shared, you said red light cameras was going to do X, Y, Z, and they didn't do X, Y, Z. Well, when they look in these committee hearings, because that's where a lot of this conversation happens, because Monday night, it's already a done deal. They just voting yes or no as an overall body and as an overall council in attendance. But the committee meetings is when they really dig down deep and ask the questions in the committee meetings. And that's where, they start to move, try to figure out what dollars moved where and for what reasons. And if we're not sitting in those meetings to challenge and to get information, and then also call certain council people to community meetings to justify this, to say, hey, we were in the finance committee meeting and you sit on the finance committee, and what is this about? We voted this way for this issue for you to take care of potholes, and now y'all decided to redo Public Square with it and not come over on 93rd Street and try to repair the rest of it. You just did one half in one ward. I mean, these are the kind of things that we have to start attending as residents. Again, the residents of Cleveland are the bosses. You all employ these people. When you cast your vote to elect them in, you have every right to take them out.
Comment. Good afternoon, Art, you and your guest.
Yes.
And I'd like to see politics are local. And also with respect to these different issues that on the note, they have not been publicized, and the city has not been forthcoming as to the real reason why they're there and what it's going to cost us. We have the Cavaliers, we have the Indians, and we have the baseball. How many of these pay taxes? We got 3 palatial sports palaces now and there, and a gambling casino. And then we're hustling the people, the city of Cleveland, for money for our schools. It's an insult. We need to replace some of those non-functioning people that we're paying $100,000+ a year. Now, this past week, the city of Chicago announced that their treasurer, a young black man that used to work in the cooperative structure now, he's a treasurer for the city of Chicago. He managed to save $100 million out of the budget for investment just for the city of Chicago, the inner city, the infrastructure, for jobs training, loans, because financial institutions don't lend to the people of the inner city. I don't know why, because we put our money there, so I don't know why it's not enforced, why the city of Cleveland does not make them loan to the city of Cleveland residents where we put our money. But $100 million is a good start. It's not for gentrification. It's for investments and loans and to start rebuilding the infrastructure in the city of Chicago. Would something like that work for us? You think so?
We're going to let Angela answer the question, okay?
Like you said, they lied to us 3 times. What's going to prevent them from lying to us again? I'm so glad that you brought it to us, the public. And thank you for your work, and I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you.
Well, she's absolutely right about what's going on in Chicago. Sometimes we have a joke that we said it seems like we're trading off leadership. I mean, we looked up, here was Barbara Bird Bennett, here, then gone, and then went to Chicago schools, and look what happened there. So sometimes we joke around and saying what's really the inside story there, that it seems like what is in leadership here or directorship here seems to go there in both cities. And Chicago, the only difference is they haven't lost population. That's what's so amazing to us. They're growing, they're thriving, whereas our city, we are losing population, and people keep saying why, when Chicago has inner city murder rate on the south side amongst African Americans, it's just unbelievable. I mean, to a point to where I've lost count of how much is going on with the violence there. But whereas we have our share of violence, but it's not even close to what Chicago is fathoning, because of the fact Chicago has been able, as big as it is, to get lost in other parts of their city, to where they focus and make sure they market and they put on the news. Do we need a whole new marketing strategy? Absolutely. Cleveland needs a whole new marketing strategy, but it's hard when, again, you're not listening to the inner city everyday people, and you're leaving parts of this city that have just been completely ignored with the resources you've had in the past that you haven't. We talked about 50 years of the Huff riots. We've had that conversation.
Yes.
All this year about 50 years of the Huff riots. And the Huff riots rolled over into the Glenville riots. And it still breaks my heart to go on 105 and still see they never came back.
No, they didn't.
They never came back to redevelop that part of the city. And I don't know if we went to sleep or what happened, that we didn't march down to City Hall and demand what was the revitalization of the Huff area and how residents and people moved back in and started to bring that community back, that somehow Glenville got ignored. Or Glenville just stayed the way it is. You can still see parts and just of where the riots took place.
You sure can. I had a shop right there on 105 at that time during the riot. Listen, for the sake of time, we want to deal with 108.
Is it a renewal? Is this time for renewal for the tax levy to all the way? Is this a new tax levy? Residents are confused because there was enough articles about all the schools getting Fs, with the exception of Cleveland School of the Arts, the 3 STEM school didn't get an F. So residents are saying, why should we increase for a levy increase when the schools are failing or the schools are overcrowded? And so they're saying, you got to vote this because of the children. I go back to someone that used to sit on the Cleveland Municipal School Board that said the best comment in the world: what happened to the accountability committee that was supposed to oversee dollar from dollar from the first levy?
Yes.
Again, the residents go to sleep.
Yes.
Because there is a committee that is supposed to watch the dollars for the first levy. I've asked citizens, have you seen that annual report? Have you looked at the annual report? Yeah, they have it online, but you got to find it. It's there, but you just got to search for a while to find it. But it's there. You know, to their credit, they produced it. But, again, where was the committee that was supposed to come back into the community to share with you the annual report of the finances of the Cleveland Municipal School District? That was a committee. And the thing is, if the citizens pass this again, do you want that same committee? Like, no one's asking, is there going to be an accountability committee? Is that the same committee that's going to be structured again? Do citizens have a say-so for who sits on that committee to watch this renewal of the tax dollars for the school district? It's wrong to say the kids in it because the kids can't vote. I love children.
Me too.
I work in the schools.
Yes.
I volunteer in the schools.
Yes.
I do testing in the schools.
Yes.
So I have a mom who's a 47-year retired teacher from Cleveland Municipal School District.
Yes.
So I am just as passionate about those babies as we all are.
That's
right. But at the end of the day,
Talk.
don't use that.
Yes.
Because the babies can't cash a check.
That's right.
The babies can't pay for it.
That's right.
And the babies are really relying on us to do well, to do good with this, but also to be holding people accountable that say they're going to do with the money. And we getting tired of looking up, and one year you're saying you're going to cut sports program, you're going to cut arts program, you're going to cut any type of extracurricular activities, and then the people look back and say, well, we just passed the levy. So if we've just passed the levy, why are you cutting all of these activities that kids need? These kids need other outlets besides just always taking a test. Because when you go into schools, that's what kids are mostly stressed out about, is the test and the schoolwork. And then the first thing you hear, as soon as these levies pass, we got to cut art. We got to cut dance program, cheerleading, flag troop. We got to cut football. We got to cut track. And then the kids are throwing their hands up like, well, wait a minute, didn't the levy just pass while all this stuff is getting cut? So the citizens, to me, everywhere Eric Gordon was, they should have been grilling him on what guarantees do we have, because this is what always comes out of these levy conversations. You say you need the money, then the babies are looking at us later saying we don't have X, Y, and Z in our schools.
That's right.
And then we as the citizens and residents don't know how to justify that.
Absolutely not. Listen, again, Angela, you know, for an old man, I have young children. And the fact of the matter is, you love children, I love children, but listen, they told us that if we passed a levy, I don't know how long it was, a year, 2 years, or 3 years, however long it wasn't that long a time, that if they didn't live up to their expectations, they would withdraw they would withdraw it. They wouldn't even bring it back. Or they told us that we would see such vast improvement or whatever. Listen, Angela, I already know, listen, this is my whole point about, that's why I'm against no new taxes, all right? Is because I understand one thing, that once they get in your pocket, they just don't want to take their hand out. And so this is my objection, but, and so I'm sadly to say I'm against 108. I know y'all gonna jump on me, but accountability, I need to see some accountability. And I need some more.
But brother, I understand Cleveland Heights has a school levy.
Yes.
Okay, they got 109. So there's other municipalities that have school levies on this ballot. And that's why I keep saying we got to pay attention to the state school board people that are running, because they're saying some things about, hey, we don't have a say-so. You're going to elect me for state school board, but we don't have a say-so when it comes to these school levies.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's deep that these state board people because they're on the ballot this year. Yeah. There's 3 of them in this area that's running for the state school board, but they're going to get elected and not have no say on these school levy. And I said, these school levy issues need to be a conversation. Because it's we understand that facilities have to be maintained.
Yes, we do.
But then when you come back and say the social part of a kid's adjustment, being socially adapted is just as important as having the curriculum and academic side of it. Yeah. And these kids are telling us that the social side is always the first thing to get cut from the schools after as soon as these levies pass.
Yes, yes.
And so somehow we need either a new accountability system set up with residents that aren't political operatives, that are sitting on these to really manage this money. Because this is not just a Cleveland conversation. This is a conversation all across this county and state about these school levies.
The money would go toward the schools. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes, I do, clearly.
But what happened? I mean, did the money go to help the Cleveland public schools, or whatever happened about that? That's my question. I'm just going to hang up and listen to hear some comments, okay?
All right. You want to take that, Angela?
Sure. Not only does the lottery give a percentage to the school system, also our casinos. When they agreed to pass these casinos, they give a percentage to the schools. That's why that's a very good question. Mm-hmm. So again, it goes back to accountability. What are the dollars really being used if you've got the lottery? Because understand, that's 2 separate pots of money.
Yeah. You
got the casino pot of money, and you got the lottery commission money that goes to the Cleveland municipal schools. And we're not even going to go to what corporate Cleveland gives to the Cleveland Municipal School. That's another pot of money that goes into the school district. So again, it needs to be some tough love conversations and some breakdowns on where are these dollars going, that you got to come back at the citizens to dig deep.
No doubt about it. Thank you for your phone call, 216-578-1490. Who's on the line? One line open. Who's on the line? Talk.
Charles Struthers.
Talking about the Partnership for a Safer Cleveland, and my dear brother Michael Walker, who is the executive director of the Partnership for a Safer Cleveland. Listen, I want to make this very frank to you. that Mike Walker, whom I have no problem with, he's a part of the problem. Mike Walker and the Partnership for a Safer Cleveland has been doing this, has been getting money from the city under the auspices of a Safer Cleveland for 30, 40 years. In other words, if it's political. If money comes, they say, well, we want to fight some crime. Who we going to get the money to? Get it to Mike Walker. What have you got? What have you got? You understand? But he's always been the one, the politician who funnel the money. Oh, we got some money coming in for this. Get it to Mike Walker and let him sort it out. So what have we got, folks? You understand? Listen. When it comes to crime fighting, I'm very serious. Take the politics out of it, and you do better. You understand? With it, you understand? Those what they do in crime fighting, they give the have-nots and the have. They give the have-not. Y'all can't get no money to fight crime. Y'all on your own. The haves, politics, we'll give y'all all the money, and y'all pretend y'all doing a great job, and we'll continue to give money. That's what's the problem. Tell Mike Walker I said so. The task force for violent crime, the Partnership for a Safer Cleveland, is a part of the problem as far as crime in the city is concerned. You keep giving the money to the insanity is you keep doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result. That's what I think about the Partnership for a Safer. Hey, what a good old suburbanite like you listening to the Art McCoy University radio show.
Every week.
All right, brother. Thank you for your phone call. Quickly, dear. We're running out of time.
Fight it to see what they're going to do. History has already shown what these people do. And the fact of the matter is, just like the red light cameras, yeah, we got it revoked. But look at all the damage that was done while it was in force.
Listen, I thank you so much. Angela, you got 1 minute. You got the last word, dear. You don't have to answer that. You can do whatever you want to say. You're the last person we're talking to.
It's really easy to say, you vote your conscience in this. I'm not trying to encourage or discourage. I'm just telling you what it is for how it is and the way it's been presented. And we just got to do something different and do it quick.
All right, so Angela, a half a minute. What's the issues again?
You've got issue 32, 33. You've got issue 108 and issue 56. 56 is East Cleveland and the primary. 108 is the Cleveland Municipal School District. 33 is dealing with the community policing and this whole DOJ stuff. And then 32 is dealing with the income tax increase in the city of Cleveland, especially for those that work in the city of Cleveland.
Angela Woodson, you're something special, okay?
Thank you. What's that?